Good afternoon, everybody. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God. Put your hands together, help me out. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for, yes I do, all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here.
Thank you, Penelope, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I'm Reverend Jean Bell. My pronouns are they, she, and her, and I am so glad that you are with us today. If you are viewing on Facebook or YouTube Live, please like and share this broadcast so we can continue to spread the good news of new thought out into the world. If you are new, first-time visitor, please see a welcome ambassador in the hallway for a gift, especially for you. All right, our speaker today is our beloved Reverend Dr. David Alexander, and he's going to continue with our monthly series, Raise Your Voice. I'm going to read through our monthly affirmation. I'm going to read through it all the way once, and then I'm going to invite you to say it with me. Yes? Yes. All right. I honor the power of my voice as an expression of the divine within me. I speak my truth with clarity, courage, and compassion. My words create, heal, and uplift, bringing liberation to myself and others. That's beautiful. So let's say this together. Please join us, if you're viewing, with one voice. I honor the power of my voice as an expression of the divine within me. I speak my truth with clarity, courage, and compassion. My words create, heal, and uplift, bringing liberation to myself and to others. And so it is. Thank you so much. Please welcome Mally Lapete with the announcements.
Thank you. Thank you, Jean, Reverend Jean. Hello, all you summer flowers. I think you're here early. Yeah, summer's really busting out early. My name's Mally Lapete. My pronouns are she and her, and I gladly serve here on the Creative Arts team at SLCA. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Make yourself known in the online chat or in person outside, and one of our welcome team members will greet you. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, please scan the QR code found on your monitor. Here we go. SLCA practitioner Tony Jenkins, right there in the house, is ready to answer any questions you have about spirituality today at 5 p.m. Perhaps you've been curious about certain spiritual practices, but have few opportunities to discuss it with like-minded people. Every third Sunday, Tony leads a discussion group exploring topics that may be hard to talk about with your friends and family. So this is one of the most popular workshops, so if you haven't joined in yet, let's check it out. Next, we're excited to announce we will be working with Toco Hills Community Alliance to do our first mobile food pantry along with UUCA right here on campus. This pantry will take place on May 23rd. Volunteers will set up the mobile food pantry and bag the products, and then from 10 to 12, we'll serve the community. With cleanup, we should be out by 12:30. Shifts are from 8:30 to 12:30. Speak with a member of our staff to let us know your intent to join us. The Reverend David next Sunday during our 5 o'clock hour, as he dives into the guiding principles of our philosophy, what we believe. Reverend David will guide us into the deeper look at each principle and how they pertain to our everyday lives. This workshop will take place every fourth Sunday. Next, after a long break, game night is back. Yes, join us in the social hall on Friday, May 30th at 7 p.m. Set a reminder to join in on a night of fun and fellowship, and my goodness, it is very fun. I will be there. This is a great opportunity to spend time with others at SLCA and meet new friends from UUCA, our host. Bring your favorite game and snack to share. We can't wait to see you there. There's an announcement about the gathering with Susan Zoller. She's one of our reverends. She's terrific. And every Wednesday, she's going to have a Zoom call. The gathering, it's back. It's at 6:30, just on Zoom. I hope you can join. Well, thank you for joining today. We look forward to visiting with you after the service in the social hall for food and fellowship. Just a reminder that our menu has changed. The first Sunday will always be community potluck. The second and fourth Sunday will be cakes and coffee. And the third Sunday today will be a full meal. Just be sure to speak to at least 2 people that you haven't spoken to before. You've seen them, you've made eye contact. Let's talk to them today. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, you belong.
Thank you, Mally. As we head into prayer, let's sing together a really beautiful, gentle song. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Through me.
Let's just relax, take a breath, and know with me. There's a power throughout the universe. This power I call God, creative force, divine intelligence. But the name is unimportant, for it is the same energy no matter what we wrap around it. It is the energy that I feel whenever I take a breath. It is the energy that I turn to when I'm in sorrow or when I'm uplifted in happiness. For this energy is always with me within me, working through me. It is this wonderful source that I turn to whenever I need to be calm or when I just want to turn to something that is greater than me, that allows me to let go of all that is showing up within my world, to know that there is something working for a greater good. It is this energy that is always working for my good, bringing me abundance, peace, joy, and all things that I choose to express in my life. And what's grand about this is it is near to me as my breath, near to me as my thought, and all I need to do is turn to it whenever necessary. I'm so grateful to have this knowledge of this. I'm so grateful for having this in my life. I'm so grateful to tap into that at any time and any place, no matter what is visiting me at the moment. And I invite each and every one of you to do the same. As I settle into that comfort, as I settle into that peace, I turn this over to the law, knowing that the law receives it as already done. For whatever is placed into the law, it always says yes to. And so in this moment, I release this treatment, knowing it is perfect, well, and good. And if you'd like to join with me in saying, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Thank you, Tony.
Hello, everyone. This is our opportunity where we collect our offering. This is how we maintain this wonderful ministry. We give our hearts, our words, and our love. We connect in so many ways. And in that, we want your money. We also want your service. Please volunteer. We want your love back. And we get it. And we are so grateful to each and every one of you. We have so many ways of giving, but don't forget, volunteerism is a way as well. Showing up for us in the kitchen as an usher, creative arts ministry, anyone can sing. That's a ways of giving. So thank you for that, for those who do show up. But let's get back to the money. Tithes. It's a give and a take. So I'm going to tell you a story about what this ministry has given to me. I'm going to give this to you. So many years ago, I was agnostic, and the only thing I had spiritual was meditation. And it did great things for me. But this philosophy breathed new life into me. It showed me that no matter what the doctor says, I can know a greater truth. No matter what my boss says, I can know a greater truth. No matter what circumstances are in my life, I can know a greater truth because I'm connected to the one power, the one source, the one substance that is back of all creation. And it lives and it moves and has its being in everything. It's greater than I am, and guess what? I can use it. We all can use it. That's what this philosophy taught me, that I never walk alone. I never walk alone. And in that knowingness, it has given me such power, such clarity, but it's given me peace. It's given me a beautiful community called the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. It's given me a greater community called the Centers for Spiritual Living. It's given me even more by having me recognize and realize that we are all one and united in this thing called whatever you want to call it. Reality, spirit, I like to call it my beloved. That's what this philosophy has given me. And I woke up this morning and I did not feel well. And so I treated. I asked my wife to treat, and I treated again, and I treated some more. And I'm here, and I'm feeling good. Not maybe 100%, but by the time I leave this place, I know I will be feeling 100%, because I know that all of you will affirm that with me, yes? Yes. And that's what I get here. That's what I receive here. So we give and we receive each other's love. We give love. So the ways that we can text to Tide any amount at 404-800-9467. We can go online and give at slca.com/donations, or we could do the barcode and scan, or we could do the old cash and check thing, which I like to do on occasion. And if you're a pledger like myself, it comes out automatically, and you determine how often it should come out. But whatever way that you give to a Spiritual Living Center, please know that we love you and we appreciate everything that you do for us, everything. And so that's why we are always available in giving back to you. Thank you. Ushers, please go forth.
Shall we do our affirmation? Let's do that together.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Told you. Not quite 100% yet. Say this with me together. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
All right. right. And so we extend our hands and our hearts to these gifts. We know that they are an expression of love from each and every individual here, that they are a symbol of that which is flowing into this place online and automatically throughout the month from many, many people from across the country and from the greater Atlanta area. And we are grateful for each and every gift, each and every dollar, each and every expression of love, connection, belonging, gratitude, joy. And we know that it goes now pressed down into the needs of this community, overflowing back out into the wider community as the experience that we get to have here today and so much more. So for this and more, I'm grateful and thankful, and so it is.
So I was on vacation this last week, and I went out to Red Rocks Amphitheater. Have you been there? In Boulder, Colorado? It was so amazing. And this is one of the songs that I brought back when I went out and heard Toby Mac, and he's just a fabulous entertainer, as well as some of his great friends that performed as well. So here we go. I'll see what I can do. Some days life feels perfect, other days it just ain't working. The good, the bad, the right, the wrong, and everything in between. Yours crazy, so amazing. We can turn our heart with the words we say. Mountains crumble with every syllable. Hope can live or die. So speak life to the deadest, darkest night. Speak life, speak life. Sun won't shine if you don't know why. Look into the eyes of the broken-hearted. Watch them come alive as soon as you speak love. You speak love. You speak life. Oh, 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 oh. You speak life. Oh, 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 oh. Some days the tongue gets twisted. Other days my thoughts just fall apart. I do, I don't, I will, I won't. I'm drowning in the deep. Well, it's crazy, so amazing. Words from our lips as the arms of compassion. Mountains crumble, every syllable. Hope can live or die. So speak life to the deadest, darkest night. Speak life, speak life. When the sun won't shine and you don't know why, look into the eyes of the broken-hearted. Watch them come alive as soon as you speak hope. You speak love. You speak life. Oh, 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 oh. You speak life. Oh, 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 oh. Lift your head a little higher. Spread the love like fire. Hope will fall like rain when you speak life with the words you say. Raise your thoughts a little higher. Use your words to inspire. Joy will fall like rain when you speak love with the things you say. Lift your head a little higher. Spread the love like fire. Hope will fall like rain when you speak life with the words you say. Speak life to the deadest, darkest night. Speak life. When the sun won't shine and you don't know why, look into the eyes of the broken-hearted. Watch them come alive as soon as you speak hope. You speak love. You speak life. Oh, 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 ladies, you speak life. Fellas, oh, 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 ladies, you speak life. Fellas, oh, 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 ladies, you speak life. Put your hands together, come on now. You speak life, fellas. Oh, 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 ladies, you speak life. Oh, 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 fresh air, yeah, everybody live. Oh, 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 you speak life. Oh, 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 oh. Didn't you feel that Colorado air? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Come on now. The drums and the guitar were missing, but I felt it.
That was great. Yeah, some more love for Penelope Williams.
now.
Wonderful. Perfect, perfect. We are speaking life into ourselves, into our communities, into the world, into each other. Amen. It's the power of being in community together, the opportunity in this moment to speak life. Good afternoon. I'm David Alexander. I'm the spiritual director here. My pronouns are he and his. I want to welcome everybody joining us online. Thank you so much for participating today and in the room. It's so good to be in the room together. Yes? It's good. It's good. It's good to be in the room together. This series this month, Raising Your Voice, we are talking about how to use the power of our voice to create the experience that we want to have in the external world, but also in the internal world of our atmosphere and of our consciousness and our thinking. And we'll do part 3 today, which I'll share with you in just a moment. I want to thank Reverend Jean Bell for last week's message, which, if you missed it, it was a masterclass. I told her Tuesday in our staff meeting, a masterclass on all of our basic spiritual principles, affirmation, treatment, the power of doing those things, consistency. Get a notebook and YouTube and sit down and pay attention, because it was a masterclass. So thank you so much, Jean Bell, for that. Wonderful. And I watched it and I thought, well, okay, now what? You know. That's it. Everybody just do that, and then, your life will be better. We'll be good. We'll go on to something else next month. But I will try to add something to the theme and to the essence of this series today. And I want to talk about the need for creating peace and how we use our presence and our voice to create peace in the world. I want to talk today about navigating and negotiating the art of peace. I don't know about you, but it seems like there's a need for peace generally in the world right now. Have you noticed? Maybe in your own individual life, but also in the collective life. And as one who has been a strong advocate for the sacred intersection of spirituality and sacred activism in terms of paying attention to what's happening in the world, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get tired. Right? There's so many issues and so many things and have you heard, and now what, and this and that, and it gets not just exhausting, but in this particular space that we are in, that I am sensing, it's beyond exhausting. It gets sort of, I don't even know if I have the right word for it. Heavy, yeah, heavy for sure, but also like almost circus-ish, like clownish, right? Right, and so it's the contrast of those things, the heaviness, and then the clowning of just like, are you kidding me? Like, really? I have to pay attention to that, right? Which is one of the reasons I love the work that William Barber is doing in the Poor People's Campaign and his protests, his monthly protests. He'll be at the nation's capital again tomorrow, and now doing training for pastors and advocates, and that work is continuing. And one of the things he talks a lot about is, he said the executive orders and all, the sideshow stuff and all the stuff that gets the headlines. It's like, stop paying attention to that, especially as moral voices in communities. Pay attention to the budget. The budget, if this budget is passed, it has things in it that consequentially will last for a decade or more, right? Longer than the administration, longer than the midterm elections. Executive orders, no matter how outrageous they are, no matter how crazy they are, no matter how dangerous and illegal they may seem to be, they can all be challenged. They can all be challenged in court, right? But the budget cannot. And so focus where, so I just say that to say, we're not going to talk about that stuff today, but that's the contrast between the heaviness and the seriousness of what's going on and sometimes the ridiculousness of what captures our attention. And in the midst of that, how do I find peace in the midst of that? How do I...
Use ChatGPT to answer that. I can use ChatGPT.
It's fantastic. You saw I did not press a button. I don't know what... Okay, no, we're not going to use ChatGPT to answer any of that. Thank you very much, although we might be curious to see what he, she, it might say. But anyway, And so we see that all around the world, people are raising their voices. We see it in the streets and protests in all kinds of different ways, in our own nation's capital, in our own cities and spaces of work and play, and there is something happening. And so in the midst of all of that, which is very important, how do we also cultivate the space and the sacred art of cultivating peace? Not a false peace that hides the truth, but a peace that transforms, a peace that emerges from courage to have hard conversations with ourselves, with each other, between groups and identities, with our nation. A peace that has the strength to listen, a peace that has the wisdom to resolve. You see, I don't know about you, but I think that we are the right people at the right time. Right? I think we have a skill set in New Thought in particular, but also I think progressive spiritual people in more broadly in general, but particularly those who are armed with the things, equipped, how about that, nonviolent language, equipped with the tools that Reverend Jean was talking about last week, with affirmative prayer and affirmation and meditation and visioning and forgiveness, all of our core spiritual practices, right? And beyond all of that, the basic premise of the idea that there is a law in the universe, that there's a good in the universe greater than we are, that we can use it, and that it responds to us by corresponding to our thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs, and that it operates by automatic law. There are very few people that are equipped with that knowledge. There's a lot of people who are in positions of a lot of power that are sort of dictating or articulating or manipulating or influencing, at the very least, the experience that you and I have on the collective. And very few of those people, if any, understand what I just said. Right? And what would happen if there was a greater collective of people who understood that? Right? Not about being part of a particular faith group, but simply the conscious awareness of understanding how we create, how the law responds to our thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs, and how we might use that to create a greater experience for everyone. Yes? And so I think we're the right people at the right time. I think that we know something about the cultivation of peace. And I think that the tension and the ridiculousness and the heaviness and all of it, I think, is bubbling up to a point to get our attention because we are the right people at the right time. I think it's happening for a reason. I don't believe in accidents or just happenstance. I believe that the universe is a coordinating force for good. And I think if you're like me and you've spent my entire life, essentially, in a New Thought church, every week ending the service saying, "Let there be peace on earth, and begin with me." Every week. We didn't have Blessed Always yet. We didn't have any of Ricky Byers. We didn't have A World That Works for Everyone yet as a song. We didn't have anything. We had the peace song. And if you moved across the movement, traveled and went to other churches, we had, Let Me Walk With My Family, Let Me Walk With My Brothers, My Sisters, my whatever. There were places where it got a little muddled. And then there were the really radically progressives that were like, yes, there is peace on earth. Yes, it begins with me. And they were like just completely changing it into first person, sacrilege, because they were being extremely affirmative, right? But every week, let there be peace. Let it begin with me. Let this be the moment now, with every breath that I take. Let this be my solemn vow to take each moment, to live each moment in peace and harmony. Let there be peace on, those are the lyrics. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. You can't keep affirming something over and over and over again. Go back, get your notebook, and watch the master class. with Reverend Jean. You can't consistently pray something and speak, and a song is a prayer twice prayed. Right? You can't do that over and over and over again as a people, as an individual, as a movement, through our hundreds of centers around the world, and not have something come to the surface that says, here you go. You want it to begin with you? Ta-da! Here's your chance, right? And so the universe is saying, so we have been saying for decades and decades and decades and decades, let it begin with me. And the universe is saying, well, now would be a good time, right? But somewhere in the midst of that journey, I don't know about you, but whether intentionally or not, somewhere I learned that peace somehow was supposed to be this tranquil thing. That peace meant no conflict. That peace meant, it's this kind of pseudo happiness that we, when we said, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me," none of us really thought, okay, what I'm singing is, and therefore bring me all the conflict to be resolved. Because nobody would have sang it if that's what you thought you were singing, right? When you said, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me, it was all like, well, let everything be peaceful and leave me alone. That's what you thought you were singing, right? Let everything be cool and let me not be bothered. Anybody? Right? Let everything be cool and let me not be bothered, right? Don't stir anything up. Don't rock the boat. We're going to come back to that. Don't rock the boat, right? Don't rock the boat. Don't stir anything up. There's a passage from the book, The Way of Tenderness, by Zenju Manual. Zenju says, and we have, down through the ages, developed many means to attempt to heal, to mend, and to atone for our actions as a humanity. And yet, while our spiritual paths have assisted us, our aspirations to be better human beings may have inadvertently hindered us. To be good people, we tend to bypass the messiness of our lives in order to enter the gates of tranquility. Can the gates of tranquility be really as we imagined it? No matter which way we approach peace, it seems we must cross the burning threshold of human conditioning in order to enter. And so before we leap to the universal, the true essence, the spirit, why not start where we are as human beings? We must carve a path through the flames of our human conditions. We must see it for what it is and bow to it. Not a pitiful bow, but a bow of acknowledgement. By acknowledging our human condition, we acknowledge that we might not know how to end hatred and that we are not superheroes, but we are human beings. We are human beings. And so, as we journey this leg of raising our voice, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me, what we know as a path for peace, what I want to invite you to know with me today is that first of all, the path must be a spiritual one. Because if it was a political one or a sort of operational one in policy and conditions, then we would have had it by now, right? I mean, there's agreements, about arms and war and those sorts of things, but those are all temporal things and tentative things, as we've witnessed and experienced through our lifetime. And so the real path to peace must be a spiritual one, and it must begin with us. And by spiritual, I mean that spirituality is nothing more. I'm not talking about a particular religion or philosophy or even spiritual approach, but simply that spirituality is the meeting the world where it is, and then finding peace and bringing our peace to it. both peace, P-E-A-C-E, and then finding our piece of the puzzle, right? P-I-E-C-E. Finding our peace, finding our peace, finding our peace. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do that, right? To meet the world where it is, sometimes that means, as the passage that I read acknowledged, to bow to it, not in a pitiful bow, but as a bow of acknowledgement, to see the world and conditions and things as they are. Some spiritual teachers say that we have to transcend the world and not to necessarily meet it where it is, but to realize that it's all just an illusion, right? The Buddhist kind of path would say it's all an illusion. It's all temporal. None of it's really here for very long, and what is eternal is spirit itself. And so you anchor yourself in the spiritual awareness of the eternal and the everlasting, and you let everything else pass before you as the wind and the waves kind of take it away. And there's great value in that as a kind of meditative practice, for sure, right? And so whichever way you choose, there is this journey that for finding our peace, and also finding our piece of the puzzle. So it's springtime, so I thought I'd give you a little, instructions on how to do spring cleaning for your mind. Because that's really what spirituality is. A dedicated spiritual practice is really just, right? Jean gave you the master class, the in-depth. I'm going to give you just like the kind of cute way of thinking about it today. All right? Even though she's the cute one. But spirituality, spring cleaning for your mind, right? How do we spring clean in our house, right? You begin by decluttering. Let me just get in here and just begin to, okay, I know that that's got to go, and let me just declutter everything so that I can see what there is to be. Anybody have to declutter before you can actually see what needs to be cleaned? Right? So it's an important part of the process. Declutter first. To declutter our mind. Sometimes there's so much in our mind. And you got, the news, and you got the headlines, and you got what's happening at work, and what's on your mind about this, and, the dog needs medication, and the car needs fixed, and this, whatever. You just got to declutter first. And then, when you declutter a little bit, then you can begin to just take one piece at a time, one thought, one idea, one thing that moves through your conscious awareness or thing that requires your attention, and just begin to examine it, right? You ever do that? I don't know about you, but sometimes cleaning can take a long time because you stop and you start looking at things. And you go, oh, look at that. Oh, I remember when I got that. Isn't that? Yeah, and it was a time when we went to the place and they did the thing, right? I don't know about you, but we do that with our thoughts too, right? If you really pause and examine, what are you thinking, and why are you thinking the things that you think about the world, about yourself, about your relationship, about your money, about your health, about, anything, right? Stop, begin to declutter a little bit so that you can just begin to hear what's actually happening in your thoughts as they're arising, and then begin to just one by one examine them. And what you see is oh yeah, this actually is a really old thought. This is a thought I got a long time ago. And it really doesn't fit me anymore. I'm not that person that I was when I got that. But I remember when I got that limiting belief. Right? Because all your beliefs are limiting beliefs. Right? All of them. Even the idea of abundance, the idea of prosperity, the idea of it's still limited by what your mind accepts as possible. So all your beliefs, to some degree, are limiting beliefs, right? And we're constantly in the process of expanding those and stretching those and allowing for more. But that requires the decluttering first, and that requires the careful examination. Where did this idea come from? Who put it there? Did that idea come from your parents? Did it come from socialization? Did it come from, just what society thought at the time? Or what's moving through as acceptable now for you, or for however you identify as a body, as a human being in this world, or how other people identify you. You ever had beliefs? You ever pull out of that box, you pull out some beliefs, and it's well, this is a belief, but this is a belief that other people have about me because of a way that they identify me that I don't even agree with. How about that one, right? Anybody got one of those in their box, right? Or 5 of them, right? Because all people like this, that look like this, talk like this, act like this, do this, whatever, must behave like this. And so therefore it's in your box. And you're like, I didn't want it, I didn't put it there, I don't even identify with the thing that's attached to. But there it is. So we begin to examine each one of those. And the power to examine them without judgment, without shame, without guilt, without any of that other stuff, is to just be curious, right? Curiosity is your superpower. To just be curious, like, well, again, where did that come from? And we can do this for ourselves, but we can also do this for the world. Like, what are the beliefs that we have about, the spiritual leader for Centers for Spiritual Living a number of years ago was Dr. Ken Gordon, and in his early life, he was a farmer in Southern California. He and I would talk about this because I loved this example that he would give in some of his talks. And he says, I was a farmer in his small patch, and they did onions. And but he was surrounded in, the Green Valley where, Del Monte and, big farms and stuff were. They did huge crops. And he says, I'd be driving along my truck, and I'd see, a huge field of cabbage or whatever it was, come, like, oh, they're getting ready to harvest. And he said, then I'll drive down, a few days later, and there'd be tractors there, and they'd all just be plowing it all under. Huge fields, as far as the eye could see, just plowing it under, all of it. He's like, what's going on? And he was a young man at the time, and so he, at the feed store or the other places, talking and saying, I saw that. What's that all about? He says, well, we take the product and we examine what the market is, and it's going to cost this much to plow a field or to harvest a field of this size, and then this much in labor and all those different things. And if the price of that particular thing, potatoes, cabbage, whatever it is not high enough, then it's not worth the cost of us to pay for it because we're not going to get the return on it. And so it's better for us to just plow it all under and start all over again. And he's like, but we could do so much with that. He's a young religious scientist, young optimist thinking, and he's like, but we could do so much. You could give that to food shelters. You could ship it over the world. You could feed so many people with that. And then entered in was all of these limiting beliefs about why we couldn't do that. Well, we can't do that because that would destabilize the market if we just gave it to the grocery stores. We can't do that because you have to have international trade agreements, and that would disrupt our international crop sharing and blah, 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 right? And it was just one thought after another of limiting beliefs. And it's still happening today, right? The fact that we harvest enough food, we grow enough food, we have the capacity to feed everyone. Hunger doesn't have to be an issue anywhere except the beliefs that we have about it and the structures that we've created, right? So when we examine with curiosity, we get to say, where did that come from? Whose limiting idea is that? And is it serving us? Is it serving us collectively? Is it serving me? Is it serving you? Is it serving the communities that I serve in, etc.? And then, of course, as you do when you're spring cleaning in your house, you have those, or if you're preparing for a move or whatever it might be, right? You have those boxes: keep, give away, right? Throw away or whatever, donate or whatever you're going to do. But you begin sorting those, right? You begin deciding. These are the ideas about me that I want to keep. I remember when I moved from Phoenix, where I was born and raised till I was about 13 years old, and my mom's company moved our family. We sold the house, moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is about 8 hours away. But I had no idea where Albuquerque was, what Albuquerque was. Albuquerque was the name from a Bugs Bunny commercial, or a Bugs Bunny cartoon, right? It pops up and says, "Oh, I should have turned left at Albuquerque," But I remember on the drive, on that 8-hour drive, thinking about my future, knowing my life and what it was, and thinking about what it would be, and that I didn't know anybody and I didn't know anything. And I realized also that the people on the other side, whoever they were going to be, my friends and neighbors and schoolmates, they didn't know anything about me either. And I knew in that moment that I could decide what I wanted to be at a greater level, because I knew that the only thing that they would know is what I decide to tell them about who I am. And so there was this profound experience of spiritual practice where I was able to say, if there's any limiting belief, any limiting thing about how I identify or how I express or the beliefs that I have about myself, I don't have to carry those forward, because there's nobody, I'm the only one who would be attached to those. Everybody else is going to receive me in exactly the way as I present myself. And the truth is that you and I have that opportunity every day, all the time. But we decide that we're too wrapped into systems and structures and other things, right? All right, so as we begin this decluttering process, examining and deciding what to keep, what to give away, what to get rid of, we begin to cultivate a space where we can find that peace and discover what our piece of the puzzle is, our contribution to the world. And as I said before, that somewhere in this quest we began to revere peace as this state of being that was tranquil and nice and voiding of conflict. But as you might have noticed, it doesn't always work out that way. And as we think about raising our voice right now, both in terms of social justice, but also in terms of our own path of unfoldment and our greatest and highest good as individuals, sometimes we need to confront some things that are operating in our life that maybe shouldn't be there. Dr. King understood this, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when in his 1956 sermon, he said, this was the title of the sermon, I love this, when peace becomes obnoxious. That was the title of the sermon, when peace becomes obnoxious. In 1956, this is where he said, peace is not merely going the wrong way. Why are we going the wrong way? I don't know why. It's really going the wrong way. Even when I go to the back other button, it's still going the wrong way. All right, I'm going to let them handle that. I'm going to keep going. Peace is not merely the absence of some negative force, war, tension, confusion, but it is the presence of some positive force, justice, goodwill, the power of the kingdom of God. Right? He further warned us against accepting superficial peace that maintains the status quo of injustice, describing it as the type of peace that stinks in the nostrils of the Almighty, he said. In his letters from a Birmingham jail, he criticized the white moderate who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, versus a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. These insights remind us that true peace requires active engagement and the courage to confront that which is no longer serving us. Conflict is not the enemy, it's the doorway. When we're seeking peace, when we want to cultivate peace, conflict is not the enemy, it's the doorway that we have to go through. To go even further in that paradigm that he gives us, negative peace refers again to that mere absence of violence or conflict, a situation where tensions might be suppressed or underlying issues remain unaddressed. This form of peace is fragile because it doesn't necessarily resolve the root cause of discord or injury. It's a state where problems are temporarily quieted but not resolved. In contrast, positive peace involves a deeper, more substantive transformation of relationships and structures. Right? It's characterized by justice and equity and proactive promotion of well-being of all individuals in the relationship. Positive peace seeks to address the underlying cause or conflict, such as belief systems, systemic injustice, society inequities, and aims to build the foundation of equity and mutual respect in whether it's a personal dynamic relationship or societal. Positive peace often looks different than our traditional spiritual view of peace because it involves setting clear boundaries, holding individuals and systems accountable, driving for meaningful change, This form of peace requires active engagement and action, addressing underlying issues, and so forth. And so what we know is that peace is not the avoidance of conflict, but the transformation of it. Peace is not the avoidance of conflict, it's the transformation of it. And we transform it through the power of our words. We transform it through the power of our thought. We transform it through what Ernest Holmes taught us and the New Thought teachers and luminaries taught us about activating the law of mind through the clarity of our treatment, the clarity of our prayer, the clarity of our affirmation. That in today's world, you could examine the work of Joe Dispenza, who's doing nothing more than teaching you spiritual mind treatment by another name. Joe Dispenza would say that a clear thought or clear intention with an elevated emotion produces a result, right? A clear intention with an elevated emotion, Ernest Holmes would say that your treatment has to have the fire in the belly, it has to have the passion in it. That's the elevated emotion. Elevated emotion, clear intention, produces a positive result. Why? Because it's the law every single time. And so we create peace through that. Because we know the power of our word. We know the power of possibility through holding on to an idea and speaking it into being. This is how we transform ourselves. This is how we transform the world. And so we learn to raise our voices first by clarifying our intention. Because what we speak, we set into motion. Yes? And so we can use this to transform conflict in the world, individual conflict and societal conflict. Right? 3 very easy tools for us: active listening, empathy, and clear communication. Active listening. When others are speaking, we listen to understand and not reply. Listen to understand and not reply. To presence empathy in our communication. To remember that when others are speaking and others hold a different view than us and they're saying something that perhaps we disagree with or again, we're talking about conflict, so they're obviously in a position that we're not in alignment with. But to cultivate and hold, this is maybe the hardest step, to cultivate and hold the space of empathy. To remember that behind every position is a person, right? Perhaps easier to do in our personal relationships because you're in an intimate relationship with that person. But it becomes increasingly important as we move out. Your coworkers, your supervisors, people you work with, and then the world, right? The positions that politicians hold or others hold on, be it the news or be in the world scene, are held by people. And so as we hold empathy for that, then it allows us to open up and soften a little bit. Not to back off from our boundaries, right? But to understand that we're still dealing with human beings. Because the moment we lose that, no matter how much progress we make on an issue, we've still created more conflict, right? And because that's very tricky, that's why people often go for the kind of peace that's like, well, I just want the kind of peace that's like, don't bother me, I won't bother you, we won't talk about it, and yada, yada, and everything will be fine, right? Just pass the potatoes, right? Kind of peace that we want at our Thanksgiving table, right? No, that's not transformative peace. It's only temporary and it's only superficial. But there's something greater that's needed in the world right now. And so behind every position is a person, a story. And then from that place, we can then implore the clear, assertive communication to express our needs clearly. That even if I remember that this person, I've done active listening to understand, I know that positions have people behind them, and this is what my need is, right? This is what I need to be successful in this relationship. This is what I need to be successful in this dynamic. This is what, expanded out, right, you see how the principle is the same. It doesn't matter whether it's personal or collective, right? This is what this group of people need to be successful as human beings, right? This is what we've agreed in this Constitution that everybody gets to have. It's called due process, right? Like that establishes, it's a clear boundary. And it's what makes us unique as a nation. And we've decided that that is sacrosanct, that we do not violate that. Even if it's hard, even if it takes time, even if it's going to cost so much money and go through court and go blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, right? Anybody have a boundary that you're like really clear that that's your boundary and you've been in a dynamic with the other person and like, yeah, but it's really hard for me to do that. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to need you to do that, right? That's it. It's the same thing. You see, it doesn't matter whether it's individual or collective. It's the same. Clear, assertive boundaries helps us create the space for peace. Take a breath. This is the beautiful thing about our teaching. Because what we know is that from a spiritual perspective, it's about that personal responsibility, which is the foundation for achieving personal peace. It involves an active and conscious commitment to fostering harmony and resolving conflict. This means that acknowledging our own contributions to discord and taking proactive steps to address and make amends, first within inside of ourselves, right? To take responsibility for, oh, I contributed to that. Oh, I see how my thought or my reaction or my hidden belief or my assumption or my whatever, right? That's the first step, is internal work. And then being able to do the same thing with another person. And this is the practice. That practice right there will keep you busy for the rest of your life. You don't need to focus on anything else. You'll be plenty busy just practicing, and you won't always get it right. And that's okay, because you come to the table again to do it again, over and over and over again. When we own our part in conflicts and in our striving for personal growth, we contribute to a more peaceful and equitable world. By embracing these responsibilities, we not only enhance our well-being, but we also play a crucial role in fostering peace that influences and inspires others. And so all of that is great. I wanted something else to kind of really tie this all together. I was praying and meditating on this message, and a story came to me. A story from the Bible, from the Gospels, and I'm always intrigued when the stories come into my meditation because I'm not a trained Bible scholar, but I know enough of them over the years, and they just pop in. They pop in like through meditation, and I'll see them or sense them or hear certain words from them, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why. Then I have to go research. I have to look it up in the context and everything and find a way to bring it to you. And so this one that I want to bring to you today is about how we take this to the next level when it comes to social justice and the noisy world of conditions and circumstances. Sometimes we believe that peace is rising above it all into a calm state of otherness, right? That's happening over there, and I'm just going to keep the peace by not looking at it, not paying attention to it, not seeing it. Right? Well, we've already talked about that's kind of that negative peace, and it's kind of an isolation piece, and it's really kind of a privileged peace. If you have the capacity to ignore the social ills of the world, then what you have is privilege, not peace. Right? And so, again, we can't hold hands and say, let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me, and then not understand that there's a role, there's a piece, P-I-E-C-E, that we might need to play in activating that in the world, right? And so how do we do that in the midst of all the noise and all the chaos that we were talking about? Maybe it's not about ignoring all of the stuff that's happening, but maybe it's about what we bring to it. This is the scripture. Tell me if you've heard it before. This is after Jesus fed thousands of people, and everything is settling out for the day. And the story picks up here. It says, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into a boat and go out ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. And after he dismissed them, he went up onto the mountainside by himself to pray, which is a pattern you see a lot in Jesus' stories, that after he's done something that we now will call a miracle, or some story about that he often retreats, and he even retreats from his disciples to spend a little quiet time, right? To kind of get himself centered and recharged. I believe he was a functional introvert, but I might be reading into the text, right? But you see that over and over again. So he retreats to the mountainside and to pray. Later that night, he was there alone. And while the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffered by the waves because the winds of the storm were against it, shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, the disciples who were on the boat, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said. And as they cried out in fear. And Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, do not be afraid." And Peter replied, "Lord, if it is you, tell me to come on to the water." "Come," Jesus said. Peter got down out of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. But then he saw the wind, and he was afraid. And he began to sink, and he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out, caught him by the hand, and said, "O ye of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when he climbed back into the boat, the wind died down, and those that were in the boat worshiped him and saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." You've heard this story before, right? This is a story about Jesus being able to enter the conditions, the storm. He was prayed up, he was anchored, he had spent his little time alone, he was in a place of peace, he knows who he is. Everything about Jesus in these stories is all about an individual who's awakened to his spiritual identity and his humanity, right? And how he walks in the world. And so there's lots of things we can dissect about that, both in the performing of the miracle, but then also in the time, the self-care afterwards, taking that time to be away, right? To get centered and anchored again. And then there's something going on. There's a storm on the water. The conditions are what they are. Remember in the beginning we said spirituality is meeting the world as it is and then finding your peace in it. So the world is as it is. This is the headline on the news. This is the drama happening right now. This is the, oh my God, have you heard? The news feed is doing this and da-da-da-da-da-da. And Jesus doesn't say, "Ooh, looks bad out there. I think I'll just hang out over here. They'll be all right. I'll pray for them." Right? Right? Doesn't do that. He goes out to them. So it's the first lesson. He goes out into the condition, bringing his peace with him. He's not affected by the storm. Why is he not affected by the storm? Not because he's exceptional. We're about to learn that real soon in the story. Not because he's above everybody else, not because he's different, but because he brings his peace with him. And then Peter, one of the disciples, who all of them as disciples are individuals who are seeking to understand the principles, understand the capacity of the Christ mind, to understand the yoke of the rabbi that they're following. Remember, he's a rabbi, he's a teacher. And he says, "My burden is light, my yoke is easy." Yoke is the thing around the cattle that pull the plows through the field. The yoke, my yoke is easy. It's the burden of my teaching, because every rabbi had a different set of rules, and that was the yoke. And so he said, my yoke is easy, right? Know who you are. Know that you're connected. Bring your peace with you, right? My yoke is easy. And so Peter's like, "I'm game. I've been trying this out for a while." They probably were talking about it in the boat. You see that thing that he did? I wonder if we could do that. That was amazing. You see how many people we fed? Oh my God, that was crazy, right? And they're trying, they're seeking not to worship him. I know that's written into the text later, but they're seeking to walk with him, to know what he knows. Just as you are seeking to walk with this thing called, not with me, but to walk with this thing called spirituality, new thought, science of mind, centers for spiritual living, right? To walk with these principles. And so Peter, who had been trying this stuff out, embodying these principles, doing his best, he says, well, if it is you, call me. Call me out there. Not if it is you, prove it, right? Prove it to me. Do something. If it is you, and what is it that he's seeing? He's seeing Christ, Jesus, the teacher. He's seeing the presence of God in the midst of the storm. Ooh, this is so good. When I got this, I tell you, I did a little Pentecostal dance in my house. I did. I know that's not our tradition, but if anybody feels like moving, you go ahead and get up and run. There's plenty of room here. Do it in the back. Nobody will see you. Because I want you to get this, right? What's he looking at? He's looking at the storm, and he sees God, right, in the storm. What are we asked to do as New Thought people all of the time? Behold the Christ in the other. Behold love. Behold God. Behold the divinity. Behold, however you want to name it, right? If the word Christ or any of those others trigger you, right? Behold the God. Behold the divinity. Behold the love. Namaste. Behold the God presence, the light in the others and in the conditions. See it everywhere that you go. Right? That's what we're taught to do. And so Peter is one who's seeing that. He's saying, there's a storm, but I'm seeing God in the midst of that. And if it is God, well then call me to the condition. Not, let me retreat, let me pretend like it's not there, let's all shelter in the boat and just get through this, or maybe we should throw a rope out to him and get him over here. Jesus seemed to be in trouble. No, call me into it. Into the world, into the condition, into the circumstance, into the situation, because I am practicing, doing what I've been asked to do, which is to behold the presence, and I'm beholding the presence. I see it. So I've reached some level of mastery or skill set at this particular level in terms of I'm not bothered by all of the other stuff. I'm seeing God in it. So call me out. Let me see if I can be out there with the condition. Do you see how that's different than hiding from, avoiding, retreating from, pretending like it's not there, all those other things? We've got a lot of conditions. We've got a lot of storms in the world right now. We don't need more people hiding out, pretending like they don't see it. I don't watch negative news. I don't pay attention. No, call me. Call me into the injustice. Call me into the chaos. Call me into the people who want to take away due process. That's what William Barber's doing in Washington, D.C. Call me. Let me show up right here. I'll stand on these Capitol steps. And in the midst of your foolishness that you're trying to pass through this house, the people's house that I can't pray in, that I've been arrested for 2 months in a row now, call me. Because I see God in the midst of that mess. You see? And so Jesus says, come. Come on, Peter. You see God in me, I see God in you, come. And Peter, it says, gets out of the boat. And it says, walks on water. He does it. Peter's out there. What's up, Jesus? Hey, we're doing this. Yeah. And then he looks around. He's like, probably look back and see the boat over there, Like, hey, whoa. I thought it was right behind me. Gets a little freaked out and begins to sink back into the condition. But the moral of the story is that he gets out there and that he's demonstrating that which he's being asked to demonstrate, which is to be in the condition but not of it. Right? To be in the world, but not of it. To bring your peace with you. The lesson is to call me out into the storm. Let me walk out in the midst of it, not being overwhelmed by the conditions. And if I am overwhelmed, then there's something there to help me. My community will be there. My brothers and sisters will be there. My spiritual practice will be there. I'll be all right. Even if I sink a little bit, I'll be all right. Right? Woo, that's so good. I can't even believe how good that is. You ain't never heard anybody interpret that story like that before, I guarantee you. You need a little Hammond B3 and some tambourines and some running around the room. That's how good it is. Anyway, you see, the lesson is that we bring our peace to the world. It doesn't get better by avoiding the storm or pretending that it's not there. It gets better by entering into the spaces and bringing our peace with us. And so this week and the rest of this month, and as we continue to practice this in our relationships, let us speak truth, but let us do so with love. In our communities, let us advocate for justice, and let us do so with wisdom. In our spiritual practice, let us affirm peace, but let it be the peace of transformation and not the peace of avoidance. Not the absence of conflict, but the transformation of it as we raise our voices and know the truth of who we are, that we become peacemakers, not by avoiding struggle, but by speaking truth, listening to compassion, and transforming the world. We call the practitioners forward to join me in prayer as I invite you to take a breath. Our practitioners are available right after the service for brief upshot of prayer if you need it for today. They're also available throughout the week for one-on-one appointment. You can check our website for that. We also have practitioners online. If you're watching online, please reach out. There's a practitioner making themselves available to you, or you can also check out our website to email or reach out to a practitioner beyond today. They are, as I am, trained in the art and the practice of affirmative prayer. And so we enter into that practice now, where we affirm and declare, first and foremost, that there is one power, one presence, one life. It is the power, the presence, and the life of God, infinite intelligence, love, the seen and the unseen, the invisible essence of all life, called by many names, worshiped in many ways, but behind all of the multiplicity, it is one. It is one thing. It is one essence and energy. And that one thing is seeking to express itself in terms of life and creation right here and right now. It is that which brought you forward into the world, that sent you forward into the world, and infuses every aspect of your being, every aspect of my being, every thought, every emotion, every aspect of my cells and my body and my tissue, all that I am in spirit, mind, and body comes from this one infinite, intelligent source. And because I know that to be true for myself, I know that to be true for you, I know that to be true for all of creation, all of life, all people everywhere, I am able right now to affirm and to declare peace, prosperity, love, health and well-being, divine right action, infinite abundance, flow, good and more good. All of this and so much more coming into your experience, coming into my experience, coming into our experience, because it is the experience that God wants to have as us, as you, as me. All it needs is an open vessel, a space that's willing enough, undistracted enough, quiet enough in the mind, receptive enough in the heart, willing enough in the courage, and aligned enough in belief, in affirmation, and the willingness to walk it every day. Oh, I want to be one in that number. That is clear enough in my heart, that is open enough in my mind, that is aligned enough in my beliefs, and courageous enough in my walk, that I can be the place where God shows up, that I can be the place where peace is found, that I can be the place that I can walk into any storm, I can walk into any circumstance. I'm not afraid of the world, I'm not afraid of the conditions. I can be a voice of advocacy for justice and wholeness and good and greater good for myself, for my brothers and sisters, for my siblings, for all individuals, and for all humanity, for all creation, because we are all one. I affirm this, I see this, I sense this. I know this deeply as the activity of my life, and I affirm and declare it for you as well. As together we release this word, knowing that it's already done, because the law of mind has already received it and already spoke it before it even came out of my mouth. It's the only thing to do now is to lie in infinite repose and allow it to have its way as us. For this and more, I say thank you, God. As I release this word, knowing that it's done, and together we affirm, and so it is, and so we are. Peace and blessings.
I had to do it. Let's sing together, family. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with, that's right. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. You're not a family, all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace, and let it begin with me. Thank you, Rev D. See you downstairs, everybody. And don't forget, 5 o'clock with Tony. Yes, workshops with Tony. Okay, thank you, everybody.